Hi friends, welcome to our answer writing masterclass. In this masterclass, I'm going to share with you a very important answer writing template on General Studies paper 3 which will help you to write answers like toppers in the UPSC mains examination. Guys, I have cracked the UPSC mains examination 4 times and I have scored very high marks in my General Studies papers. Guys, I can tell you that one thing which differentiates the top 100 200 candidates from rest of the candidates is their answer writing ability, their presentation style. Because guys, in the top 2000 3000 aspirants, most of them their content base is same. After 2 3 attempts, most of the candidates they have the same content base. But what differentiates the top 100 candidates is their beautiful, presentable answer writing skill. Guys, the biggest challenge in the UPSC mains examination is to complete the paper because the time allotted to write the 20 questions is very less. Therefore, guys, if you develop some answer writing templates on repeated themes which are repeated in the UPSC mains examination every year, then you can have edge over other aspirants. Further, if you develop some flow diagrams that will give an extra edge to your answers. These flow diagrams you can't think inside the exam hall. You have to prepare them before and you have to practice them so that you can use this diagram inside the exam hall. Guys, let me tell you that I have scored more than 100 marks in most of the GS paper, and one thing which has helped me is flow diagrams. So guys, I'm going to share with you an answer writing template on a topic disaster management, which is one of the most important topic. Every year at least one question will definitely come on this theme of disaster management. So guys, if you analyze the type of questions coming on disaster management, you will see that there are two kinds of questions which have come on disaster management. One is there will be a question which is on overall disaster management, and second will be a question which are specific to some disasters like flood, earthquakes, cyclones, etc. So guys, what I have done is that I have made some flow diagrams and templates which you can use as a ready-made template and flow diagram for any answer which comes on disaster management. So guys, any question which comes which discusses overall disaster management, you can use this diagram, which is the paradigm shift in India's disaster management approach, which has come after the Disaster Management Act in India. So guys, before the Disaster Management Act in India, the disaster management approach was a reactive approach. But there has been shift towards proactive approach towards disaster management. The second biggest change which has happened after the Disaster Management Act is that before there was no legal backing to India's disaster management architecture. However, after the Disaster Management Act was passed, we have got now statutory legal backing for most of the disaster management institutions and funds. Third, the disaster management approach was very ad hoc before the Disaster Management Act. However, after the Disaster Management Act, the approach has become institutionalized. This is very important. These keywords are very important because, guys, in UPSC, you have to use exact expression. Because if you use exact expression, you need to no need to write a lot. Guys, in less number of words, you are conveying more. Last but not the least, the disaster management, which was relief centric, has become holistic, integrated. Holistic and integrated. Okay. Another important diagram which you can use in your answer is the disaster management cycle. Before the Disaster Management Act, the old approach was focusing more on response or relief. But after this Disaster Management Act, which was passed, which was based on this disaster management cycle, the focus was on the risk management and also the crisis management. So the crisis management, which was the main emphasis before the DM Act, now the focus has shifted to risk management also, where we are focusing on prevention, mitigation, and preparedness. These pre-disaster steps are becoming more and more important, where we are trying to reduce the risk only so that the impact of disasters will be minimal. So this diagram also you can use in your answers. You can make note of this diagram. Further, guys, what you need to do, any question which comes on disaster management, what are the themes? What are the major points which you have to focus upon? So you have to focus upon institutional arrangement. So guys, you know that this is the institutional arrangement after the Disaster Management Act, where we have the NDMA, NEC, then in the states we have the SDMA and SEC, and at the district level we have the District Disaster Management Authority, and then we have the local authorities at the village level. So overall, you see, this is the institutional arrangement for the disaster management. Next, we have now a policy on disaster management, which is the National Policy on Disaster Management 2009. Further, we have now legal and techno-legal framework to counter disaster management. Further, now we are mainstreaming disaster management mitigation in development process. This is very, very important. This is a major change which has happened after the Disaster Management Act, that we are mainstreaming disaster mitigation, disaster risk reduction in the development process itself, which has made the development sustainable development. Very important. Next is the funding mechanism. Now we have a dedicated fund, NDRF, National Disaster Response Fund, and we have the SDRF. Next, we have specific schemes addressing mitigation. Then we have preparedness measures, we have capacity building measures, we have human resource. So we have the National Disaster Response Force, we have the SDRF, and last but not the least, we are now focusing on community participation. This is very, very important. So we are moving towards community-based disaster management. Community-based disaster management. These keywords, if you keep in mind, you can write any answer which comes on disaster management. The keywords: institutional approach, policy, legal framework, mainstreaming disaster management in the development, funding, schemes, preparedness, capacity building, human resource, and community participation. Further, guys, you know that the new disaster development plan, which India has come out in 2016, it is based on the Sendai framework. This is very important. In every disaster management answer, please include this Sendai framework. Sendai framework has four parts: understanding disaster risk, strengthening disaster risk governance, investing in disaster reduction and resilience, and last but not the least is enhancing disaster preparedness and build back better. So every question which comes on disaster management, you incorporate this diagram. You will get very high marks. Let me tell you, in this year's mains examination 2024, there was a question directly on disaster risk resilience. Directly this question has come. That's what I'm saying. These templates, if you master, you can write any answer which comes on disaster management. Further, guys, you see now the focus of disaster management is, you can see here, early warning, mitigation, disaster risk reduction, preparedness, prevention. Okay, so all these approaches are now included. Further, guys, Government of India and Prime Minister has given 10-point agenda for disaster risk reduction. You can take note of these 10 points which are given in the PIB. Also, you can refer it. You can use this any question which comes on disaster risk reduction, PM 10-point agenda, or you can just use this PM 10-point agenda. No need to remember all that. Also, just use this in any answer, you'll get marks. Guys, in the UPSC mains examination, you have to create that impression. You don't have to write everything. There is no space. Okay, just a 10 marker question. You can't write more than 120 to 150 words. So you don't have to write everything. You have to just show the examiner that you know all these things. Further, now the second type of question can come on specific disasters like floods, like cyclones is very important this year. So you can answer this by writing under two headings: structural measures and non-structural measures. In non-structural measures, obviously, guys, warning, okay, monitoring, etc., etc., things will come. Next, guys, in every answer on disaster management, talk about the National Policy on Disaster Management 2009 and discuss National Disaster Management Plan, which is 2016. Please incorporate this in your every answer. You will get very high marks. Further, guys, you see here, now we have early warning, pre-disaster preparation based approach, National Disaster Management Plan, response force, disaster risk reduction is the focus, community-based disaster management, and scientific distribution of disaster funds. In the end, what are the challenges in disaster management? This also you need to remember, because in every answer you have to give some of the criticisms also about India's disaster management overall approach. So what are the criticism? Coordination gaps are there because there are three levels: central, state, and local agencies. So there is a coordination gap. Next is excessive centralization of decision making about funds at the national level. This is very important. There is excessive centralization as far as fund is concerned. Then there is interinstitutional coordination problem. There are so many institutions which are included in disaster management. Next, funding is limited. Next, awareness is lacking. Preparedness at the community level is lacking. Next, we need to focus on vulnerable segments of population like old age, women, children. Last but not the least, we need sufficient number of human resource also for disaster management. Although we have NDRF, we need to increase the number of professionals in the NDRF. So guys, you can see here, if we remember this 5 6 challenges, then every question which comes, whether it is flood, earthquake, you can write these challenges in every answer, which is what: coordination problem, awareness problem, funding problem, human resource problem, interinstitutional coordination problem, excessive centralization, and focus on vulnerable communities. In the conclusion, what should you write? Any disaster management question comes, what should you write in the conclusion? Try to link to the SDG 11. SDG 11 talks about disaster management. So in any disaster management answer, link to SDG 11. If you link to SDG 11, your answer will be complete. You can say that without disaster management, we will not be able to achieve Sustainable Development Goal 11. So disaster management, disaster risk resilience is very important in achieving the goals of Sustainable Development by 2030. So guys, how do you like this answer writing template? Guys, all these answer writing template I'm teaching in my daily answer writing class. You can get access to this answer writing class. You can get a demo telegram on this number. You will get a demo every night 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. We are discussing 5 to 7 answers daily. It will help you to cover the mains current affairs, and also it will help you to develop very good answer writing abilities. Further, you will get some value addition facts and diagrams for your answers. Please consider liking this video and sharing this video with your friends. Thank you guys. Happy Diwali.